Hi, good afternoon. My name is Justin Jones. Today is August 16th, and I'm showing you my lab work area. So we're inside my garage. This is my lab area. I've got my fire extinguisher here, and got my lab kit. It's going to be stored. This work area, this workbench is pretty long, so all of my lab equipment is going to be stored on the far end of my workbench, and then the actual workspace will be here. As you can see, I've got my fire extinguisher and a smoke detector on the roof. And then I've got my trash area, which is located right next to my workbench. Then next to that, I've got a broom and another trash area for my waste. This leads me to my first emergency exit. That's going to my muster area, which is the backyard and my gazebo. And then from there, we're going into my kitchen, where I will be having my sink, and this is where I'll be doing my emergency decontamination and labware washing.
Good afternoon, my name is Justin Jones. This will be part 2 for my post-lab reflection notes. So I'll be answering the questions one by one, and then just highlighting some of the points that I made while conducting the experiment. So the first question that I had, or that is here, is: did the preparations for your experiment reveal safety precautions that you weren't expecting? It was nothing out of the ordinary. My house has a pretty good format for conducting experiments, so it wasn't really anything new. I wouldn't say that I conduct experiments out of my garage already. I do a lot of work out of my garage, a lot of automotive maintenance. So a lot of the things that we were preparing for, or that the course had me prepare for, were things that I already had on hand, like a fire extinguisher. I've already thought about egress routes and things like that. So it wasn't anything that I hadn't already thought about safety-wise. How did your preparations affect your confidence level that you could execute a distance lab course safely? My confidence level did increase because of the items that I did have on hand, and then it felt good to actually rehearse the plan that I had. So if you saw earlier in the video, I had the two egress plans. One was going that led to my backyard, and then to the front of the house. So actually rehearsing and executing that plan, I think helped out a lot in that area. When did you first start thinking about safety in relation to this lab course? Okay, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really start thinking about it until one of the readings brought it up, and it started talking about the PPE and the type of equipment that I should be wearing, and when I should be wearing that type of equipment, and what I should and shouldn't keep in and around my workspace. I really started to take it more seriously as I was selecting my workspace, because I wanted to start in like my kitchen or something like that. Of course, my wife vetoed that, so I've been banished to the garage for safety. So the next portion had to do with the chemical selection. So I didn't really see where I was supposed to submit a chemical to review. So I just came up with my own. I hope this kind of works. I did the research and looked at the questions myself and answered them based off of that. So the chemical that I chose was ammonia, right? I chose that chemical because it was something fairly common in household cleaners, and I know that a lot of these labs, or at least what I read, is that a lot of these labs are supposed to have chemicals that are fairly common. So I picked ammonia just because of its commonality. The background information that I found on ammonia came from various websites. I do work, I'm in the Army, so I work in a hangar, and we have SDSs, or safety data sheets. I worked as a hazmat control specialist, so I'm familiar with utilizing safety data sheets. So a lot of the information that I pulled came straight from SDSs and just websites, and even the back of the bottle on some products. So my hypothesis for this was if the concentration of ammonia of a cleaning solution is increased, then its effectiveness in dissolving grease on household surfaces will proportionally increase. And then the question was, do you think that your hypothesis is strong? Why or why not? And I do think my hypothesis is strong, just based off of layman experiences and anecdotal evidence so far, right? Whenever we want to increase the strength of something, we make it more concentrated. And I think that kind of goes back into what I read earlier this week, is that it's the dosage that, everything has a certain level of toxicity. So it's really the dosage that turns something from a cure to a poison. And I would say that it's the same thought process here. What variable do you think will be the most challenging to control? So the way I planned this experiment is that I would use it on different substances, surfaces, and then the dilution would come from various amounts of water that we would put in there. And I think the biggest variable that I would have the hardest time controlling would be the surfaces that I cleaned. I wrote down one more thing in my notes that I thought would be also an issue, would be like the temperature. Sometimes my garage gets very hot, especially if I don't have anything, or if I don't have any ventilation in there, and I wonder if the temperature of the ambient air could have an effect on my experiments. So I appreciate your time. I hope this hits all the marks that you were looking for. I've been Justin Jones. I appreciate it.